World War II technically kicked off in 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. But if we're being honest, the fire had been building long before that. The world was still licking its wounds from World War I, the supposed war to end all wars, which obviously didn't work out that way. Countries were broke, angry, and suspicious of each other. The Treaty of Versailles had humiliated Germany, and the rise of dictators like Hitler, Mussolini, and Japan's militarist leaders pushed nations back towards the AIDS. Add in a global depression, unstable borders, and a whole lot of unresolved tension, and you got a planet gearing up for another massive fight. Tier 1. The stuff you know, but it's still awful. The final solution, 1933. When most people think of World War II, they picture the popular stories, the ones Hollywood loves. You know, tanks rolling through muddy fields, soldiers lighting cigarettes after battle, planes flying over Europe in perfect formation, that type of stuff. But even the familiar tales have teeth, starting with the final solution. For years before the war even kicked off, Hitler and the Nazis were already planting the seeds of genocide. They blamed Jewish people for everything, losing World War I, the economy tanking, even the so-called collapse of traditional values. Repeat the lie enough times, and eventually, the crowd starts to cheer. When Hitler became chancellor in 1933, the hate slowly turned into anti-Jewish laws. They smeared swastikas on shops, carried out humiliating public beatings, and torched synagogues. Then came the ghettos, where people starved behind walls and had to eat garbage to survive. But that was just a warm-up. By 1941, Nazi leadership, under Hitler's directives, gave the green light for full-blown genocide. The SS and their helpers shot Jews by the thousands in forests after forcing them to dig their own graves. Some victims were lined up and shot into mass graves, sometimes still breathing when the next body landed. Others were crammed into gas vans, choking on carbon monoxide as German soldiers stood outside, waiting for the banging on the walls to stop. The genocide was cold and systematic, but it wasn't efficient enough, so they built death factories in Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Sobibor, places where trains arrived packed with human cargo, and within hours most were dead.